Alright, I'm gonna make this quick because I truly just do not care enough about making this review. I don't know why it's Atlanta anymore, where I just simply do not care. It's probably for a myriad of reasons, like pretty much converting this track into a Frankenstein monster of Daytona and Dega when the track was fine in terms of the racing product. I understand it needed to be paved, but and it's more frustrating now because if they just simply repaved it by year two, the track would already start to have wear and tear. So it really defeats the purpose of reconfiguring it in the way that it has. And this race was just such a waste of time. And I'm so glad I slept through like almost all of stage one. I literally saw like the last half a lap at the end of stage one, and then I went back to sleep. Amazingly, I fell back to sleep within a span of 2 minutes between the commercial break and before they came back from commercial. So that was kind of impressive. Again, the lack of shits I gave at this track was kind of unprecedented. That was something magical to witness. Then I woke up maybe halfway through stage two, and it was good. If that's what stage one was, then okay, then sure, it was like above average, maybe like a 7 out of 10. But I'm not gonna give it a phenomenal rating because of what they did this track and how they basically did all this shit behind drivers' backs by not letting them know what they're doing. That's kind of shady. Um, Almost all I heard this week is about how the 29 car is going to be out on track. I think the 29 car literally, I think, got more laps around the track than the actual Cup cars did, which, that's pretty damn sad. Yeah, I mean, they didn't have practice, they just had qualifying. So, I mean, literally, if the 29 car did 3 laps around the track, or even, I don't know how many laps it did, it might be like hyperbolic, but the fact that it's even relatively close to what the 29 did, like the actual 29 car on track, just doing shakedown laps and everything, was almost equivalent to the amount of laps that they did in qualifying. Is pretty goddamn pathetic and sad, and that's a whole other tangent about how we need practice, but whatever. That was like all I heard this week was member berries of the 29 car being on track, which that's it's fun. Just I would give a shit, but just that's all it was, just member berries up the fucking ass, nostalgia, and it's like, yeah, let's remember of a time when things were great, but it's not anymore. But whatever. That's a whole. That's point. That's pointless. So, um, then as stage two ends, well, it ends because of a wreck, and then fuel kind of gets flipped upside down on its head because they're anticipating rain. So some people stay out, some people pit, and we go green for maybe about 10 or 12. I don't even know how many laps it was, but eventually the 24 car wins, and it ends under rain. And I'm sorry. If I invested all of my time into that, I probably would even give it a lower rating because then it would have been even more of a waste of time. Did NASCAR make the right call? Yes. Is it NASCAR's fault? Of course not. It's fucking stupid to assume that I'm going to sit here and blame NASCAR because it fucking rained. But I'm sorry, when I'm reviewing the product and rain is an element that occurred in it, I'm not going to sit here and give it the same exact rating that I had before the rain occurred. So that's why I'm giving it a 6. It was above average. It probably could have been way better had there not been stages, because I think stage one had apparently a relatively long green flag run, or tire wear started to become a thing, but it was like after 20 plus laps, which it's even more infuriating because this was old land. We sacrificed such a great track and everything just for this, and I'm sorry, it's not worth it. And I'm not ever gonna probably forgive it. So I'm gonna probably sit here and be in my fucking 50s and still be bitching about it unless they reconfigure it by then. So sorry. This track might be my most hated on the schedule. Shockingly, I'm gonna sit here and say that it probably takes more actual logistical skill to probably win at fucking Texas than it would be at Atlanta. So just saying that. That's a fucking atom bomb take. But this is gonna be the atom bomb take video. Yeah, I don't even know what more really to say. It was just ultimately just a waste of time. Glad I did not invest hardly any of my capacity into this race. Yeah, ever since they I just have given such little shits about this track. And also, this was the track too that perpetuated Kirk into having a concussion because of Chase Side. So big shout out to him for that. So that's like reason number 15 maybe. I don't even know. I don't even know if I have anything more. I really don't. Um, it's kind of amazing I had the motivation, willpower to even want to make a video, but I think it's just because I just want to get this done and over with so I can go back to bed and sleep or something or do something else. Um, but yeah, holy shit, that was man. If I watched that from beginning to end, I probably would give it a 5. Um, it's a shame because it had the potential. It had the potential to. I'm not gonna sit here and give it like an 8 or 9 or a 10 out of 10 on potential. That's like fuck. Give me a 10 out of 10 on potential because I can invent a cure for diseases. Like we're not gonna judge shit on that. We're judging on the actual stuff that occurred, not on the potential, not on the what ifs, not on the what could have beens, but what the what is. So 6. I'm being I might even be being a bit generous giving it a 6, but I think 6 is fair enough. It was an above average product that could have elevated itself into maybe a little bit above average territories, but we never got that far. It could have devolved into a shit show. It could have been fine. Who knows? But I'm reviewing on what it is. And ring races always suck. Even when I was watching it when I was younger, it always sucked. Dale Jr. got his last career win on a range short thing. That's my simp fanboy driver, and I'm still gonna sit here and say that sucks when it sucked that he won in a rain certains. That was a whole other thing because I don't know. But that's all I have to say. There's not even really a whole lot else to say. Um, Arca was for the most part good. Trucks was pretty much a shit show throughout the beginning, like almost the entirety of it. Um, and people are saying, "Oh, Mid Ohio's a problem. Mid Ohio's a problem." It's like, no, it's fucking not. Last year's race was fine, but when you add rain to the mix, especially with these drivers that aren't as skilled in an era where it's been probably the least skilled in its ever in the entirety of its existence, of course, it's gonna be a shit product. Um, yeah, the rain just I would say would have made it better, but there's just so much wrecking, so much shit, and there's so many yellows. It was just tedious to watch. Xfinity, I barely remember anything of it because I don't give a shit about this new Atlanta. Was it serviceable? I guess. I don't know. The colleague cars screw themselves out of a win, so that was mildly interesting. Booth really didn't give a shit about Greg Van Alst, which that's wonderful. Driver that there's an interesting storyline there of a driver that won the ARCA 200 at Daytona and doesn't have a ride now, which just really sells the state of ARCA. Frankie Muniz is having trouble getting sponsors. That's sad. So I think for the most part, ARCA races have been fine, but in terms of the getting sponsorships and the logistics of it, there has to be something up with all that. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to fucking to even process it, but something clearly is not right. But that's like it. I just New Hampshire will probably literally be better than this, unless I'm like wrong. But last year's was pretty good, so I do have a little bit of high hopes for New Hampshire. So 6 out of 10. That's as much as I'm going to give it, and that'll probably be the lowest one of the week because everyone's going to give it like a 7, 8, 9. Not 7. Anything above an 8 is a bit much. Giving this a 9 is just. This is one of those races where I just don't understand how giving this would be, unless you're just a simp for the restrictor plate stuff, which that's fine. Just it's not really the same anymore, and it's not nearly as skilled as it used to be. And it's stopped being a thing a long time ago. I somehow almost made this into a 10-minute video. I'm not even gonna give the video. I'm gonna give this race even its due diligence. 6 out of 10. Could have been. It probably could have been a lot better. Could have been way worse, but 6 out of 10 is above average, and that's probably the biggest compliment I can give it is that it's slightly above average. Done. Take care.